What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Truth. Today, I want to talk about judging a book by its cover or judging people based off of how they look. I think it's important to understand that you shouldn't judge people based off of how they look because you never know what a person has or what they've been through or what they're going through. And I think it's important to allow people to show you who they are. And I think it's important to understand the difference between judging a book from its cover or judging a person based off of how they look and just understanding your intuition, because sometimes you can trust your intuition when it comes to people. If you get a weird vibe or if you understand that that person is kind of off, I think it's important to understand to trust your intuition. But what I'm talking about when it comes to judging people based off of how they look is I'm talking about surface level things. I'm talking about a surface level understanding of somebody looking or having designer on or looking rich or looking young or whatever the case may be. Because I used to work at this job, a security job, and I was working at Kroger one day, and this older couple came up to me and they were asking me questions about like a pamphlet or something that was right beside me, and I answered it the best way I could. But the older gentleman ended up asking me, how old I was, and I ended up saying at the time I was probably 26. He was like, "Wow, I thought you were 18." And after that, he said, "I can tell you haven't been through much in life, or life hasn't tarnished you." And I took that as a compliment to my healing journey because I have been through a lot, but I haven't allowed it to take me down. And I think that's important to understand when it comes to judging a book by its cover or judging people based off of how they look. I might look younger than my age, or I might look like I haven't been through a lot, but I have been through a lot. And I think it's important to understand to not judge people based off of, even though in a lot of circumstances it protects me from certain situations or certain people when they think when they automatically assume that I'm a surface level person because I look like I take care of myself, or because I take care of myself, people automatically assume that I only care about surface level looks, or I only care about how I'm perceived on the outside, or whatever the case may be. And I think that it has protected me from people that are surface level, and it helps me to see through them, or it helps me to protect myself from people that automatically assume what I bring to the table and automatically flushes them out of my life, because I know that they are not somebody that wants to genuinely get to know me. They just see how I appear on a surface level. For me personally, I think it's important to just understand how to get to know people and how to really connect to people on a genuine level. And for me personally, I'm a very adaptable person, but because of what I've been through in my past, I've learned how to adapt to different situations and different people. Because for me personally, when I was a young kid, when I was young, my mom wasn't very financially stable, so we had to move around a lot. And me and one of my sisters used to have to live in different households with different people, and sometimes they weren't necessarily people that we knew, or they weren't family. And by the time I was in 6th grade, we moved to about 26 or 27 different households, and not all of them, and most of them, majority of them, weren't with my mom. So we had to learn how to adapt and how to connect to different people in order to be able to stay in the households that we were staying in. So for me personally, it's an automatic understanding for me to understand how to see people through a different lens and not just see them on the surface level, but allow myself to connect to different people and understand how to connect to different people. So I just think it's important to understand how to connect to different people, and that is something that I learned from that struggle, is how to connect to different people and how to not just see surface level on how people are, because a lot of the times how people come up, how what their mask is or how you see them is not necessarily who they are on a deepest level or who they are on a deeper level. And whether that be in a positive way or a so-called negative way, I feel like it's important to allow yourself to just get to know people and allow yourself to, or don't get to know them, but don't judge them based off of what you necessarily see. Allow yourself to dig a little deeper if you genuinely want to get to know them. And I think that's important to understand, because if you do allow yourself to get to know people, you can meet some great people in your journey, and you can meet some, genuine connections, or just learning how to see people beyond the surface level can allow you to understand how to protect yourself in certain situations, or allow you to learn how to maneuver in certain situations, whether that be you understanding that that person is not for you, or that situation is not for you, or whether you understand that it is something there for you, or it is a deeper connection or a deeper bond that can be made with that individual or that situation. I just think it's important to understand not to be afraid to connect to people, or not to be afraid to also, listen to your intuition and understand what your inner compass is telling you about a person, also to protect you from unnecessary pain or unnecessary chaos or unnecessary energy that can be detrimental to your mental health or your inner peace. I think that's important to understand. But yeah, I also want to talk about people pleasing as well, because I think when it comes to genuine connections overall, that you want to make sure that you are being genuine with yourself and genuine with another person. And if you are people pleasing, that is a form of manipulation, and it's a form of you being disloyal and dishonest with yourself. And I think the biggest thing about a strong foundation when it comes to genuine connections is being honest with yourself. Therefore, you're able to be transparent and honest with the other people in your life, or the other people that you want in your life. I think it's important to understand that when it comes to people pleasing, at some point you're going to end up breaking yourself down, and you're going to end up being misused or abused, and then you're going to turn around and want to take that anger out on somebody else, when accountability is necessary when it comes to trying to people please. Accountability is necessary to understand how to move forward and move in a way that is healthy for you in the future connections that you want to have in your life, or the connections that you already have in your life. I think it's important to understand that people pleasing is something that is also a mask, which I was talking about earlier, which is something that is not true to you, and also puts you in a position to be in a space where you feel misunderstood, or you feel like you don't have genuine connections in your life. And it puts you in a space of people viewing you in the wrong light. It puts you in a space of people reading you wrong, to where you have unnecessary pain or chaos in your life because you are wanting the validation of others. And the reality is that if you get that validation from them, it's not a validation that you can uphold. It's not something that is really true to you. So at some point, they're also going to feel like you are misusing them or abusing them, and you're not giving them a chance to genuinely love you for the person that you actually are. And that puts you and them in a space of being dishonest and not being able to show up as your authentic self, or not being able to show up as their authentic self to who you truly are, and genuinely being able to build a genuine connection from a strong foundation to where y'all both can fully invest in the connection or fully love that person from a place of unconditional love, or being in a space of true understanding between one another. I think it's important to understand to be honest with yourself and be honest with the people that you want in your life. That way you can feel and understand what real love is. Because if you're faking it, if you're people pleasing or whatever the case may be, then you'll never know if that person really cares about you or really loves you or really cherishes you, because you're not showing up authentically to yourself and you're not showing up authentically for them either. So I think it's important to just understand that when it comes to trying to create genuine bonds and genuine connections, and also understanding that you are worthy of a genuine connection just by being you and showing up as that, and allowing whoever is not aligned with that or whoever doesn't want to connect with that, allowing them to be removed or allowing yourself to walk away from those type of connections. And I'm not saying just be this horrible person and think that people are going to want to connect to you or going to want to have genuine connections with you. I think it's important to be the person that self-evaluates and understands what parts of you need to heal or what parts of you need to release in order to attract genuine love in your life, in order to attract healthy love in your life. I think it's important to really be your own best friend and get deeper than the surface level with yourself. And I think that's important to understand. If you want people to not judge you based off of just surface level, if you want genuine bonds that can go deeper than surface level, then be more than surface level with yourself. Allow yourself to go deeper than skin deep. Allow yourself to go deeper than materialistic things. Allow yourself to go deeper than just the money that you have or the clothes that you have or the way that your face looks or whatever the case may be. Allow yourself to dig deep within your subconscious mind. Allow yourself to do the shadow work. Allow yourself to see the light in you and the beauty in you that's deeper than surface level, so that when you do connect to other people, you have more to offer than surface level. And I think that's important to understand. Don't judge people by just surface level things, and don't just connect to yourself surface level either. So yeah, I think that's important to understand. But thank you for watching this episode of Truths with your host, Carr. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be back every Wednesday, so make sure y'all subscribe and turn your notifications on, because I will be posting every Wednesday on this channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope if y'all took nothing from this podcast, that you understand to get deeper than surface level with yourself, and that you understand not to judge people off of their looks or judge people off of surface level things. Allow yourself to genuinely get to know people, or don't get to know them, but don't judge them, and allow them to be who they are. And also understanding to trust your intuition when it comes to people. And intuition is more of a deeper understanding and not just surface level, and I think that's important to understand. But yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I will be back next Wednesday.